It's my great pleasure to welcome all of you for this day's session. We have His Grace Amarendra Prabhu with us today, and we hope that all of you would be enjoying the nectarian sessions as Prabhuji is seen bright, brilliant, and with full of smiles and radiance. And we request that Prabhuji to kindly take over. He needs no introduction as he has been giving us nectarian sessions for last several months. So I also welcome Prabhuji's parents who are there today in this session as well. So welcome His Grace Shyamchandra Prabhu and Sundari Mataji for
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna.
Please accept our humble obeisances.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Kindly please bless all of us.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Over to you, Amarendra Prabhuji. Please go ahead.
My mother is also here. She also can offer her blessings to me before I begin.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Dandavad Pranam.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Dandavad Pranam.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam everyone, and thank you for kindly joining and participating.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. So, yeah. First of all, I want to offer my obeisances to Ramakrishna Prabhu, Shachi Yashoda Mataji, and all the wonderful Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis who are on the call. Thank you for kindly encouraging me to purify my tongue by glorifying Srimad Bhagavatam. In the Mukundamala Stotra, King Kulashekar Alvar has said, Jivhe Kirtaya Keshavam, that the greatest bhakti to be performed is just to vibrate the transcendental messages, the qualities, the glories, the names of Uttama Shloka Sri Hari. So, Jivhe Kirtaya Keshavam, that the tongue should do kirtan of Keshav. And that is bhajan for the tongue. Just like it is bhajan for the mind to remember Krishna, it is bhakti for the tongue to chant his names. It is bhakti for the ears to hear about him. And it is bhakti for the soul to surrender to him. So it all starts with the tongue. Seva unmukhehi jivha adau. Jivha adau. Swayam eva spuratyada. So I'm very, very grateful for this opportunity, where we all get chance to be absorbed in Krishna. So thank you, Ramakrishna Prabhu. Thank you, Mataji, for this opportunity. Very, very grateful. Thank you. Thank you. It's like a hungry man who gets a feast. I feel very happy. Or it's like a thirsty man in the desert who gets a pool of water. Karacharana saroje kantiman netramine shramamushi bhuja vichi vyakule gadha marge. Hari sarasi bigaya piya tejo jalogam bhava marupari kinnaha klesha madhyatyajami. The acharyas have said that this material world is like a desert, and Hari Bhakti, Krishna Bhakti, is like a pond of sweet, fresh, cooling water. And the limbs of Bhakti are the opportunities to jump in to that pool. And in that pool are the lotus flowers of the lotus feet and the hands of the Supreme Lord. And the fish which is moving in that pool is the very beautiful, wonderful glances, loving glances of the Supreme Lord. So in this way, we are all very fortunate to get a chance to hear, speak, sing, read the messages of Sri Krishna. So let us get started. Is the voice audible? Okay. All right. Om Ajnana Timirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtham Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupaha Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guroho Shri Yutapada Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Saha Gana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamscha. He Krishna Karuna Sindho Deenabandho Jagatpate Gopesh Gopika Kant Radha Kant Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavibhyo namo namaha. Nama om Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamy Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharane Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarane Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. So we are celebrating Parshva Ekadashi here. I'm not sure if it's Ekadashi there also or maybe it's tomorrow. Tomorrow. So we are celebrating Ekadashi here, and very wonderful occasion to speak, to sing, to hear, to read, to remember the Supreme Lord. Actually, to remember Krishna is our only duty. But when the mind is very passionate, very ignorant, very restless, then we have to engage in work of this world to calm down the passion of the mind and somehow dovetail that in the service of Krishna. But if the mind can somehow be fixed at the lotus feet of Krishna in Vishuddha Sattva Gun, with pure goodness, then Natasya karyam karanam cha vidyate. Even for the soul, there is no other duty to be done in this world except remembering Sri Hari. There is a very beautiful verse. The question asked is, who's the most sinful person in this world? Who's the most sinful person in this world? So the answer is also given in poetry. Kechit vadanti dhanahina jana jaganya Kechit vadanti gunahina jana jaganya. So there are two camps. One camp is saying that the most sinful people are those who are born poor in this world. They are without wealth. Why? Because they have been sinful in the past, because of which by the negative reactions that have come upon them by their own activities, they have become poor. I am not saying this. These are just opinions in the verse. Kechit vadanti. Some people may opine. Some people may say, Kechit vadanti dhanahina janaha jaganyaha. The word jaganya means sin. We know in the Bhagavad Gita also, jaganya gunavrittistha adho gachanti tamasa. That those who are sinful, they go downwards towards hell. So some say that those who are sinful, how do we identify them? Oh, those who are poor in this life, they may have been sinful in the past. It's just a hypothetical statement. But what's the other camp? The other camp is saying, Kechit vadanti gunahina jana jaganyaha. That those who are bereft of good character, they are actually the most sinful. Right? Why? Because they have been sinful in the past. This life, they are born with bad character, those impressions. They are into negative activities. They are into detrimental thought process. So one camp is thinking and opine, that's their opinion, that those who are sinful, they are born poor. So by seeing who's poor in this world, you can understand who's been sinful in the past. It's just an opinion of some class of people. And the other class of people, they opine that those who have been sinful in the past, they are born with bad character. So in this life, by looking at who has bad character, you can understand that who's been sinful in the past. So how do we know what is the actual truth? Kechid vadanti dhanahina jana jaganya, kechid vadanti gunahina jana jaganya. But however, what's the opinion of Vyasadeva? Vyaso vadati akhila veda purana vidnyo. After studying all the Puranas and compiling the Vedas, what does Vyasadeva have to say? Vyaso vadati akhila veda purana vidnyo narayana smaranahina jana jaganya. The actual sinful people are those who don't remember Sri Narayan. Those who don't remember Sri Krishna. That is the actual test of who's been sinful. It's not poverty. It's not bad character. None of them are obstacles on the path of bhakti. But by seeing who is remembering the Supreme Lord, and who is not remembering the Supreme Lord, we can understand that who has been sinful in the past and who has not been. So we all have the opportunity to remember Krishna by studying Srimad Bhagavatam, by associating with the devotees, by worshipping the deities every day, by hearing Hari Katha from senior Vaishnavas, by very absorbed, attentive, sitting down, one-pointed, without multitasking japa. The quality of our Krishna consciousness depends on the quality of our japa. Very simple formula. Sometimes devotees say that, oh, I don't feel nourished enough. I feel spiritually weak. There are only 3 reasons why someone can feel spiritually weak. Only 3 reasons. 1, we have to introspect the quality of our japa. Either we are not chanting 16 rounds, minimum, or we are chanting 16 rounds but not with the right quality. Prabhupada did not say 16 rounds. Prabhupada said minimum 16 good attentive rounds. Right? So we are probably walking and chanting, driving and chanting, cooking and chanting, talking and chanting, browsing the internet and chanting, multitasking and chanting, hearing class and chanting, reading and chanting, sleeping and chanting. If someone is chanting many rounds and they are constantly chanting, then no problem. Uthite, bashite, khaite, shuite, jatha, tatha, naam lo. Desh, kal, niyam, nahi, sarva, siddhi hoy. Chaitanya Bhagavat says, yes, you can stand and chant, sit and chant, walk and chant, sleep and chant. If one is constantly chanting, then irrespective of what our external activities are doing, internally the tongue is chanting constantly, then no problem. It is not wrong to sleep and chant, drive and chant, provided we are chanting all round the clock. We are bathing and chanting, cooking and chanting, walking and chanting, driving and chanting, then sleeping and chanting, waking up and chanting, then no problem. But if we are chanting only 16 rounds every day, and those 16 rounds we are chanting while driving, while sleeping, that is a problem. Does that make sense? So this is the first reason why we could be spiritually weak, where the chanting quality is not good. The second reason why we could be spiritually weak is criticism of Vaishnavas, either hearing or speaking. He did this, she did this, they did this. How can they speak like this? How can they do like this? Of course, we will have questions because this is not a perfect world. And even in the devotional circle or in the devotional school, you will have devotees of different calibers. You will have those who have just entered. You will have those who have spent 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, 50 years even. So it's a wide spectrum. And to expect everyone to be pure at all times is a fallacy. We shouldn't expect, right? But however, we should, even if someone has some, let's say, wrongdoing against us, or miscommunication, misunderstanding, judgmental behavior towards us, it's natural the heart will feel sad. But instead of criticizing them, it's good to first think whether I was responsible. And second, running it through our superior, that this is what I am encountering and I don't want to criticize. How can I see this whole situation in a Krishna conscious way? Then we will make advancement. Reversals in life, natural. But criticizing the mediums of our past reactions, that is not devotional, right? There's a difference between how Prahlad Maharaj or Draupadi or Gajendra face reversals and how we face reversals. This is why their mention is there in the Bhagavatam and not our mention. Our example is not given by Shukadeva Goswami. There's a reason why. So this is the second reason why we could feel weak. And the third and most common reason why we could feel weak, I want to show it, not say it, because it'll give a better effect, is not reading these books. All these wonderful books of Srila Prabhupada, right? Starting with all these small books of Srila Prabhupada, and then coming to Bhagavad Gita, then coming to Bhagavatam, not reading them. You see, anytime someone comes and says, I'm feeling spiritually weak, I don't feel inspired enough. First 1, 2, 3 years, one will feel very inspired. But then, naturally, a state of stagnancy, lax, feeling of sluggishness sets in. And it's because of one of these 3 reasons. Of course, there are other reasons also, but these are the 3 primary. Not proper chanting, not proper daily reading, and then committing Vaishnava Aparadha. 3 things. Apart from that, there are other things also. Accepting food which is not prasad. Very common reason why there could be pollution in the consciousness. Yesterday I was hearing about one devotee, very senior devotee, who accepts only prasad. And that too, his vrat is very high. It's something that we can't imitate. His vrat is, he accepts prasad, only that which has been tasted by his Thakurji, his deities. Imagine. So one level is to eat anything and everything. Second level is to understand no meat eating, no intoxication, no gambling. I will keep away eggs and fish, etc. And then coming to vegetarian. Third level, I will accept only prasad. Right? But his vrat is such that he doesn't accept anywhere, anything. Because he says, why should anybody be troubled? They have to make 4 rotis extra for me. Why should I trouble anybody? And his mood is, wherever he goes, he will serve prasad. During the prasadam time, instead of sitting and eating, he will just serve everyone. But he will not accept. And he accepts only what is offered to his Thakurji. Not something that we can imitate or we should, but I'm just giving an example. So he was mentioning that his consciousness has become so subtle now and sensitive. He accepted something few months ago, and for 1 week his consciousness was disturbed. And then he was introspecting what he had, where he had, and then he realized the person who cooked was not chanting also properly. No kantimala, no chanting, somewhere. So, and his consciousness had become so sensitive that that input immediately disturbed his consciousness. Can we imagine? So accepting food anywhere and everywhere could be another reason. Browsing the internet, watching sports, watching very graphic, either news feed in the form of whatever it could be, any rajasic information, movies, daily soap, whatever, the telecast, broadcast on the television, too much time on Facebook. These are things which lead very bad impressions on the consciousness. And as a result, what happens is there's no vyavasayatmika buddhir ekeha kuru nandana bahushakhayanantascha buddhayo vyavasayina. Consciousness, if it becomes multi-branched, there's no focus. Another reason why one can feel spiritually weak is improper schedule. Sleeping at any time, waking up at any time. Now naturally when we go off to sleep late, we end up waking up late, right? It's natural because the body needs about 6 or 7 hours of sleep. So let's say there's screen activity till 11 o'clock, 11:30, 12 o'clock at night. And then one has to rest because all day they're busy. So the waking up time would probably be about 6:30, 6 o'clock, whatever it is. So the morning time, which is meant for bhajan, for bhakti, is lost. So this, if it is done over a long period of time, it brings in spiritual weakness. Brings in spiritual weakness. Definitely, 100%. His Holiness Bhakti Rasamrit Maharaj was mentioning that if someone wants to make advancement, then one has to utilize the time between 4 o'clock and 8 o'clock in the morning. This is the time to feed the soul. Now, if we have to be ready at 4 o'clock till 8 o'clock, time is for Krishna. In fact, Bhaktivinoda Thakur says something even more intense. Can I share that? It's something very wonderful and inspiring. His Divine Grace Sachidananda Bhaktivinoda Thakur Mahashaya explains that we have 24 hours in a day. 8 hours for the body, 8 hours for our profession, and 8 hours for Krishna. How wonderful. I'll repeat that. He says 8 hours for the body, 8 hours for our professional work, and 8 hours for Krishna. Think about it. Now, 8 hours for the body, meaning let's say we sleep for about 6.5 hours. And then in the remaining 1.5 hours, you have to fit in having meals, 3 meals, 2 meals, bathing, brushing, shaving, all the things that come with it. That's 8 hours done for the body. Then working 8 hours at work, including travel time. Bhaktivinoda Thakur says if it's more than 8 hours, then it's ugra karma, it's unnecessary. Right? And then he says 8 hours for bhakti. 8 hours for bhakti meaning Bhaktivinoda Thakur's standard. 6 hours for 64 rounds. And then in the 2 hours, you hear Hari Katha, you serve the deities. Or let's say you keep 4 hours for chanting. 4 hours, 5 hours for chanting. And then remaining 3-4 hours associating with devotees, reading, hearing, serving the deities, etc. This is his standard. Of course, we can see that as the ideal standard and try to go as close as we can, practically, right? But on the pretext of practicality, let us not cheat ourselves. Let us not cheat ourselves. The target is very high. The target of Krishna Prem is not a joke. It's not an algorithm that you just run through step A, step B, step C, and then we get Krishna Prem. Eureka. It doesn't work like that. Because Krishna is Swarat. He is independent. It's possible you can run through all the algorithmic steps, and Krishna may say, well, he doesn't put his heart. He doesn't put his heart, so I will not give my heart. What's the seed verse of the Bhagavad Gita? Aham sarvasya prabhava matta sarvam pravartate iti matva bhajante mam buddha bhava samanvitaha. Only 4 things to remember. 1, Krishna is the source. Krishna is the source. Nobody else is the source. Krishna is the source. This is the first point to remember. Krishna is the source. Nobody else is the source. And because he is the source, it's not any demigod, it's not any human, it's nobody else. Krishna is the source. Even the other Vishnumurtis come from Krishna. That's the first point. Second point, because he is the source, everything must come from him. Which means all the happiness that I have in my life comes from him. Thank you, Krishna. All the reversals that I am facing comes from Krishna. Thank you, Krishna. Nobody is causing any harm because they are not the source. Who is the source? Krishna is the source. How beautiful. Bhagavad Gita is opening up practical reality solutions in life. It's one thing to memorize the verse, but it's one thing to decipher and decode the deeper meanings. Krishna is the source. 1, nobody else. And second, everything comes from him. This phone comes from him. This mouse comes from him. The mic comes from him. The elements through which they are made, they come from him. The person who's putting all of this together with intelligence, that person along with his intelligence and ability comes from him. All circumstances come from him. Birth comes from him. Death comes from him. Old age comes from him. Therefore, because we love him and we want to serve him and we accept all of his decisions, therefore, whatever comes from him is going to be auspicious for me because he is my well-wishing friend. How beautiful. And understanding this, step 3, bhajante mam, we must perform bhakti. Remember him, chant his names, etc. And 4th step, most important, bhava samanvitaha, we must worship him with all our heart. Not through the tongue, not lip service, not just looking at the deity, but with our heart, offering obeisances, with our heart performing arati, with our heart chanting the holy name, with our heart hearing Krishna Katha, with our heart, with the heart. If the heart is not there, then very little benefit. Krishna is Swarat, right? So we have to try to manage our schedule like that. If it's irregular, that was the point from where we went into the loop of this discussion. If the sleep is disturbed, the schedule is disturbed, then we are not getting our goal. To get into IIT, to get into the army even, there has to be a high level of discipline. Is it not? Can someone who is not disciplined get into the army or the Air Force or the Navy? Rigorous training, intense training. One is trained in such a way that they can crawl, they can run through fire, they can be empty stomach 3 days, they can survive just breaking ice and drinking that water if they are in the mountains, is it not? They could jump, they can run, they can sneak through circumstances, they can fight, they can go handless, they can go legless till the time they don't go headless, they will fight. So if this is the spirit in the army of one country, what to speak the spirit of the army of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu when the army is fighting against material nature or Maya? How intense should be the training? So His Holiness Bhakti Rasamrit Maharaj says, the morning time is for Krishna. Unrestricted. No phone, no talking. There's one very inspiring sadhu in the Gaudiya Math. He's a disciple of Srila Bhakti Pramod Puri Goswami Maharaj, a god brother of Srila Prabhupada. And this sadhu, this sannyasi, Mahatma, he chants 64 rounds, starting at 2 o'clock in the morning. Starting at 2 o'clock in the morning, he's chanting. And sitting in one asana. No walking, no running and chanting, nothing. Sitting in one asana, in front of Tulsi Devi. Just sitting and chanting. From 2 o'clock in the morning up to whatever, 7 o'clock, whatever the time is, 7:30. Until then, the niyam is not one drop of water, not one grain of prasad, and not looking at the phone. And not talking one word to anyone. Think about how intense this practice is. So we may not have to chant, or we may not be in a position to chant 64 rounds because of being a grihastha. But the point is, it's not imitation, it's taking a drop of inspiration. Srila Rupa Goswami, in his work, he says, after reading the life of Dhruva Maharaj, who is speaking? Rupa Goswami. The foremost associate of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he is saying, after reading and hearing the life of Dhruva Maharaj, Rupa Goswami is saying, I don't feel I'm a devotee. I don't even think I'm a devotee. Why? Because Dhruva Maharaj was ready to stand on one leg chanting his mantra. He was ready to give up eating for the sake of his mantra. He was ready to give up even breathing. Breathing, think about it. Giving up breathing just to focus on the mantra. What level of intense focus and dedication is that? Rupa Goswami says, I can't do that. And Dhruva Maharaj did all of that for Vaikuntha. And we are aspiring for Vrindavan and the service of Radha and Krishna. How one-pointed. Why is Arjuna glorified? Because he saw only the eye of the fish and eye of the bird in the bush. 2 examples. Eye of the fish in the Swayamvar of Draupadi and eye of the bird on the tree. So he's glorified for his focus. So we need that. We really need that. We cannot let our time pass. Days pass, weeks pass, and we don't even know how the time is being wasted. We are just blowing candles and cutting cakes and wishing ourselves happy birthday. But the introspective devotee is thinking, how has my bhajan deepened from the last time I cut the cake, which is last year? And when we think about how my bhajan is going, how my days are being passed, no time to see who's doing what. Because it's an ocean inside. And when the person becomes very sensitive to their bhakti, their practice, then whenever they say something which is not in line with bhakti, let's say someone is criticizing some devotee, and the person, instead of cutting that person off or leaving the place, If he even says, yeah, I think what you're saying is correct, just that much, he or she will burn all day in their consciousness. Why did I say that? Because now the consciousness has become so sensitive and subtle like a fabric. Any blot of ink is seen. But when the consciousness is covered, at that time the person can gossip, he can sing film songs, he can, do whatever. And doesn't even feel that I'm going wrong, because that's how clouded the consciousness is. But by sincere practice, every day fixed, yukta ahara viharascha, Krishna has given guidelines in the Bhagavad Gita. And this is what we were saying, bhava samanvita, 4 things. He is the source. And therefore everything comes from him. All the good comes from him. I am not making money. He is giving money to me. I am not a self-made man. He made me. Dukkha is not given by my spouse. She's just the medium of my, or, not just spouse, but anyone. It's not just that person. It's not just the immigration. It's not just the neighbor. It's not just my health. It's my reactions coming through these different ways. But it's all signed and approved by Krishna, so I welcome it. And I still continue to worship him with all my heart. So morning time, giving, full on, no talking, no looking at the phone, no eating. Maybe having a bottle of water next to us just to sip if our throat gets parched because of thirst. But to sit there, closing our eyes, and not speaking anything except Krishna Nam, hearing the holy name, and being absorbed. Mind will distract. Mind will say, see how many rounds are done, see how many beads are left, pull it out of the bag and see. Mind will say, you're sleepy. Yes, I may be sleepy, so I will get up and I will chant. I will stand and chant. I may feel still sleepy. I will go wash my face with cold water. Again, come and sit. If the child says, Mama, I can't study, what does the mother say? Okay, go to sleep. She doesn't say that. She says, okay, wash your face and come. You have to do it. Get done with this. This discipline is needed. ISKCON is our university. ISKCON is our university. Prabhupada is our chancellor, the president, or the principal. The spiritual masters that we have are the professors. Chanting the holy name is our curriculum. Prabhupada's books are the reference books to study. And life is the examination. The devotees around are our classmates. Just hanging out in the university doesn't graduate us. We have to study. We have to study these books. We have to chant japa nicely, articulating properly. Every syllable is properly pronounced. Not running very fast, not going very slow. Chanting at a pace that we are able to focus and hear. The focus should not be so much on just shaking the head or shaking the beads and just having like a motion. It's about going deeper in our chanting. Sitting there absorbed, closing our eyes. Because if the eyes are open, then the eyes will say, well, the clock is like this, the water is tipping there, the fan is on, the bulb needs to be changed. If we are very sleepy, we can keep our eyes open. But the best is to shut all the windows. Skin off, ears on, but eyes off. Mouth, except for Harinam, off. No smelling anything, just sitting in seclusion and chanting. Nicely, blissfully. Blissful chanting. At least 30 minutes of reading Prabhupada's books every day must be done. From last time, I remember when we did last class on Srinivasa Acharya, everyone promised you'll finish 2 cantos by then. A chapter a day. So I don't know how many did it. But if you have done it, then all glories. Wonderful. Shachi Yashoda Mataji showing thumbs up. She doesn't even have to show thumbs up. She's done more than 2nd canto. But if devotees have done it, wonderful. Reading. If we don't read, then we will go weak. The point is, we don't value Srila Prabhupada enough. This is why we are not reading. We are saying through the tongue, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. But then when it comes to Prabhupada says, no, I don't want this. This is okay, but what I want is you sit and read my books. This is what I want. Can I tell you a few stories about Prabhupada and Prabhupada's books? It's very, very inspiring. You know, I like to speak on this topic. It will hopefully inspire us. So when Srila Prabhupada was in Vrindavan, we all may have seen Prabhupada has his Prabhupada house in Vrindavan, ISKCON Vrindavan. So Prabhupada visited Vrindavan, and the temple made a rule that Srila Prabhupada will have 24-hour service through different devotees. And they will all take different time slots. Somebody will serve from 7 to 10 in the evening. Somebody will serve from 10 to 1 at night. Then someone will serve from 1 to 4 early morning. Then someone will serve from 4 to 7 sunrise. Then someone will serve from 7 to 10 in the morning. And in this way, clock cycle, devotees will serve. It so happened that one devotee had the service of serving Prabhupada from 1 to 4 at night. So you can imagine how difficult that service would be. You have to be awake and serve. Service in the sense if Prabhupada needs something. Prabhupada needs water. Prabhupada needs some assistance. Let's say Prabhupada has to get up and he needs some help. Someone to be there. But they should not be in the room. You know, at the face of Srila Prabhupada. They should give Prabhupada his privacy. So the plan was, behind Prabhupada's room, in the Prabhupada room, you may have seen the garden where there's a fountain in Vrindavan temple. So the devotee said, I will be in the garden, just behind. And if Prabhupada needs something, I will go in. So in that way, I am there, but I'm giving him his privacy. Of course, the lights were off at 1 o'clock at night in Prabhupada's room. And he was outside chanting japa very softly. Because when it's quiet, even if you chant very softly, it's audible. So he was chanting very softly. And at 1:10 at night, 10 minutes into his service, the switch was switched on. The lights were switched on in the room, Prabhupada's room. He was shocked. Who's in the room? Prabhupada woke up. Prabhupada went to the bathroom. He bathed, put tilak, and came and sat at 1:10 in the morning. He was amazed. What is Prabhupada going to do? Because this was his first time service. So through the window, he was seeing. Now when it's dark, pitch dark in the garden, and there's light in the room, from the room you can see outside. But from outside you can see inside. So Prabhupada did not know there's a servant outside. But the servant could see inside what Prabhupada is doing. So Prabhupada sat behind his desk and took his dictaphone to start translating his transcendental books at 1:10 at night, when there's complete peace and serene quietness around. Prabhupada started dictating. He probably did it for about 5-10 minutes, then put the dictaphone down. Then Prabhupada reached out to the Bhagavad Gita and read a few pages. Then he put it back, took his dictaphone, started dictating again another 5-7 minutes. Then he put it down. Picked up his chanting beads, chanted for about 10-15 minutes. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. The devotee was explaining he could hear the holy name, Prabhupada chanting, for about 10-15 minutes. Then Prabhupada kept the beads aside, again picked up the dictaphone and started dictating. Then he dictated for about 5-7 minutes, put it down. Then he reached out to the multiple Sanskrit commentaries of the Bhagavatam, Srila Jiva Goswami, Sridhar Swamy, etc. He read for about 10 minutes, put it back, and picked up the dictaphone and again started dictating. And this devotee was amazed. He was amazed that this is how Prabhupada dictates his purports. They are not all in one sequence. It's not just straight, like I'm going to dictate the purports of this verse and boom, for 10 minutes. No. He said Prabhupada dictates 2-3, let's say, lines, and then chants japa to meditate, to get inspiration, to get empowerment from Krishna, and then keeps the beats down, and what comes out of his chanting is what he's gifting us through the dictaphone. And then Prabhupada reads Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita, and he's reading through, seeking more inspiration from the words of the Shastra, and then dictating into the dictaphone. So the devotee was amazed that I don't know Sanskrit, I don't know the commentaries of the Acharyas, I can't chant the pure name like Prabhupada, I can wake up at 1:10 at night with that level of surrender, and still all of that empowerment and blessing of Krishna through the pure consciousness of Prabhupada into the dictaphone is what I'm getting in the books. And he was saying, all that I have to do is pick them up and read. This is all that I have to do. And he didn't realize, he was getting so happy that this is what the books are about. Now I'm getting like the inside story to how it's being done. And in that excitement, his chanting volume increased. He was actually chanting soft so that Prabhupada doesn't get disturbed in the sleep. But he didn't realize in that excitement that this is how Prabhupada is doing. Oh, wonderful. He's like reading and chanting and then dictating. And this is the nectar that I am tapping into. He didn't realize. He was like, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. In the excitement, the volume of his chanting was high. And he didn't realize. And in no time, Prabhupada took his little lota, a little water pot filled with water, and threw it out of the window. It said, shh. And the person was completely drenched with that water. And he didn't realize. He said, oh, Abhishek. Prabhupada said, shh, don't disturb me with your chanting. But the devotee was mentioning that this is the nectar that is there in Prabhupada's books. And he was also mentioning another beautiful story. He said that in Los Angeles, either 1975 or 1976, Srila Prabhupada had come. Please forgive me, not Los Angeles, in New York. Prabhupada had come. And in a place where only 30 devotees could sit, 300 devotees were there to welcome Srila Prabhupada. People were all sitting on each other's laps, and people were sleeping on the stairs, on the veranda, outside the temple, somehow just to have a glimpse of Srila Prabhupada. And there, after Prabhupada's class, there was a question-answer session. And devotees were asking questions. And it was so brilliant, says the devotee, that for every question, Srila Prabhupada was answering with proof coming from his books. Like, for example, with the first question, Srila Prabhupada said, go to 1st Canto, 13th chapter, this verse purport. Second question, go to 5th verse purport of Ishopanishad. And boom, there's the answer to the question. Someone else is asking the question, Prabhupada said, oh, this is there in the purport to the 7th verse of Sri Ishopanishad. This is there in Upadeshamrita, like that. And whatever question they were asking, the answer was right there in that section. So the devotee said, I was amazed about two things. One, how well Prabhupada had read his own books, that he exactly knew what is where. And second, he said, for all times to come, any question that we want to ask Srila Prabhupada, they all can be asked in his books, and they will all be answered in his books. This is why Prabhupada said, I eternally live in my books. So we simply have to read. And there is a very nice way how we can read. Like, for example, now Elevation to Kṛṣṇa Consciousness. It's a small book, small Prabhupada book. It has about 90 pages. Let's say you read 3 pages a day. Very simple. 3 pages we all can manage. However busy we are, 3 pages we can manage. 1 month. 90 pages, 3 pages a day, 30 days, 1 month. Beyond birth and death. 50 pages, right? But along with that, On the Way to Krishna, 90 pages. 90 and 50, 140 pages. 5 pages a day. In 2 months, we finished 3 books. In this way, yesterday, in another discussion, I was counting, and in 6 months, if you read 3 to 4 pages a day, this is how many books you can read in 6 months. So therefore, it's on my table. On the Way to Krishna, Beyond Birth and Death, Elevation to Krishna Consciousness, Easy Journey to Other Planets, Coming Back, Perfect Question, Perfect Answer, Introduction to Bhagavad Gita, Perfection of Yoga, Krishna, the Reservoir of All Pleasure, and the Nectar of Instruction. 10 books of Srila Prabhupada read in 6 months. Isn't that fascinating? Very wonderful. How inspiring. When we think about the volume, 18,000 verses of Bhagavatam, 700 verses of Bhagavad Gita, then we don't, we get scared and we don't start anywhere. Start with these small books. Page by page, we become a sage. Before we age, let's escape the cage, right? That's it. Before we age, let's escape the cage of material existence. Page by page. 3 pages, 4 pages a day, who can do it? Everyone can do it. Everyone. We all can do it. Just like we all chant 16 rounds, we all can put an investment that every day I will read. Every day. In fact, my Shiksha Guru, once he chastised me, reprimanded me, when, I think last time I was mentioning this, that when I could not read for 1 week, and I reported to him that I didn't read for 1 week, then he chastised me. He said, how could you do like this? How could you do this? Like, it was unacceptable. He said so sternly and so heavily as if I had broken one of the 4 regulative principles, That's how intense he was. He said, how could you? Like 1 week without reading, how could you? It's the word he used is unacceptable. Absolutely unacceptable. And then he said, I've been living in Vrindavan for more than 30 years as the head pujari. And can you imagine how intense and how busy it gets during Janmashtami and Radhashtami in Vrindavan as the head pujari? I have to take care of the temple deities, I have to take care of the home deities. In the middle of this, there'll be some installation, there'll be some Griha Pravesh, there'll be some Upanayan Sanskar, there'll be some Vivaha Sanskar. He said, I get very busy. But it's been 30 years I'm head pujari in Krishna Balaram Mandir, and I have not missed reading even 1 day. That was wow. And then he said, my target of reading is 45 minutes a day. And when I'm very busy, it's 30 minutes. But it's never gone below 30. So when senior Vaishnavas lead by example like that, it's very inspiring. So if we chant our japa early in the morning, because of a proper schedule, we go off to sleep. His Holiness Bhakti Samrit Maharaj was mentioning that the biggest mistake we all make is to be awake at night, late night, because of which it disrupts our waking up next morning. Right? And then the whole day is gone. Even if let's say we sleep at 11 and we force wake up at 4, chanting quality is not good because we're dozing through our japa. And then we somehow want to race through the japa to finish it, to take 1 more hour of rest before we hit work at 8 o'clock or 7 o'clock. This will not work, not sustainable. It's not long term. Going off to sleep early, not eating after sunset will help. Heavy meals after sunset takes a long time to process. The stomach is working. Even when we are sleeping, the stomach is working to digest that food. And as a result, the relaxation that our brain and our body needs through that rest is not achieved, because all that blood supply is there in processing the food, in digesting whatever we have eaten. So even after we get, let's say, 6 hours of sleep, we wake up tired because we are not rejuvenated. So after 6 o'clock, 6:30, no prasad. Nothing. Going off to sleep early. Again, this is sustainable. But If we say, I feel hungry, well, we will feel hungry for 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Body will get used to it. Don't worry. We will not die out of hunger. Don't worry. There are more problems in the body because of overeating than because of not eating, right? More people die because of obesity than malnutrition. There's a joke in America that whatever salary that's gotten every month, half of that goes in eating burgers outside. And then the remaining half the salary is gone in hitting the gym to lose the weight that's gained by outside junk food. Right? So we don't want to do that. As devotees, we should try to be as restricted as possible. We don't have to have sweets in every meal. Not needed. Not needed. We can live without it. What if tomorrow we don't get it? Will our chanting get affected? It should not get affected. It should be a situation that tomorrow if I have to sleep on the floor, I can still chant. If I have to live under the sun, I can still chant. If I have to live by eating khichdi twice a day, I can still chant. That should be the kind of preparation a soldier in the army should be ready. If sweet is available, fine. Not available, fine. Salt is too much, fine. Salt is less, fine. This should be the preparation. If prasadam is less that day, no problem. I will honor that and have little fruits and manage. Not that we tell our wife, why the salt is too much? Why the salt is too less? Arey Baba, do you want to get Krishna or no? Do you want to get the lotus feet of Krishna or no? And then you're still stuck with how the tongue is responding to salt? This is not how we should be. We should chastise ourselves. Okay, fine. If Krishna has accepted it with less salt or with more salt, no problem, I will manage. I should not complain. Dayaya sarva bhuteshu santushtyayena kenava sarva indriya upashantyacha tushyati ashu janardhana. Very beautiful verse from the 4th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. 3 things if we do, we will get Krishna's mercy. Many times people ask this question, how to get Krishna's mercy? This verse says, we will definitely get Krishna's mercy and we'll get Krishna's mercy soon, quickly. 3 things. Point number 1, dayaya sarva bhuteshu. Be kind to everyone. Don't worship Krishna in the altar and criticize Krishna when he's sitting as Paramatma in somebody's body by speaking harsh speech. We can give big pravachan, big classes on the Vyasasan. But if we can't deal with our spouse and children properly at home, nothing, no use. Waste. They know our true character. Outside people can put garland and say, wow, very good, very good. But the spouse and the children, they know, right? They know. One time His Holiness Radhanath Maharaj was asked after a class, Maharaj, how do I know how many anarthas I have? Maharaj said, ask your wife. She knows it. Right? We can't hide our true nature. We want to grow in the heart, not what people think about us. Reputation means what people think about us, but character means what we actually are, and that's what attracts Krishna. Krishna doesn't see how much following we have. Krishna doesn't see how many people are liking your post or how many people are appreciating and glorifying. Doesn't matter. After the person is gone, we can have Shok Sabha and 100,000 people can come and say also, such a great devotee. But it doesn't matter. If he has to become an animal, he will become an animal. He will become a dog. People are still glorifying that, oh, he was a very wonderful soul. But he's gone. He's in another body. Doesn't matter what people think. We want to better in our heart. First thing, dayaya sarva bhuteshu, to be kind to everyone. Unnecessarily talking, unnecessarily bickering, unnecessarily complaining, unnecessarily blaming, unnecessarily criticizing, always being agitated, always being provoked. Why did you do this? Why did you keep it like this? Why did you not say this? Why would you say this? How can you act like this? Doesn't matter. Shh, quiet. The more agitated we are, bhakti will not show its true fruit. We can't be like this. We can't be rajasic and get Krishna. So the best principle is to be quiet and to be kind to everyone. sarvartha sadhanam. Maunam sarvartha sadhanam. We can imagine how much time we can save by just being quiet. Unnecessary talking kills our time. And then on the phone also people say, what else? Okay, what else? What else? So what's up? What's up? What else? And in Hindi, aur bolo? Acha, aur bolo? Aur bolne ke liye kuch nahi hai baba. Hare Krishna bolo. Bas. There's nothing else. Nothing else to talk. Aag lagi hai. Fire on the mountain. Run, run, run. That's our situation. That's one. To be kind to everyone. To not hurt anybody. To not be rude. Second, santushtya yena kenava. To always be satisfied. The quality of food that we get to be satisfied. The amount of money that we get to be satisfied. The spouse that we have to be satisfied. Chanakya has written these three things in his Niti Shastra. If the man even after marriage is thinking, oh, I made a mistake. That proposal that came before her, I should have accepted that. I would have been happier. It doesn't work like that. Krishna has a perfect means of giving our results, whether good or bad, happy or distressful, whatever it is. We have to be satisfied. The house that we live in, the kids that we have, the spouse that we have, the money that we make, the food that we have, satisfied at all times. And third, sarva indriya upashantyacha. We must learn to control our senses. If the fourth regulative principle is broken repeatedly, then the pot of bhakti is filled with holes and all the nectar is going out. You can't go inside our consciousness to find Krishna if we are convinced the pleasure is outside. Right? You can either go east or you can go west. If we want to go east to find Krishna, but our endeavor is to find pleasure in the west, outside our body, then it doesn't work like that. Everyone who has gotten Krishna has gotten through brahmacharya. Whether grihasthas, whether brahmachari. Through brahmacharya only they have gotten Krishna. His Holiness Mahavishnu Goswami Maharaj used to say that after death, the body is anyway covered in saffron. How saffron? Saffron flames of fire. So why not cover our heart with saffron while being alive? How wonderful. Which means through brahmacharya, through purity, through celibacy. We can't let go of our enthusiasm in Krishna consciousness through distractions in this world. One-pointed. One time one brahmachari was talking to one Mataji in Vrindavan. And His Grace Aindra Prabhu saw. And Aindra Prabhu called that brahmachari. Idhar aao, come here. Then the brahmachari said, yes, Prabhu. Aindra Prabhu said, I saw you were giggling and smiling and talking to that Mataji. So the person was a little embarrassed. So Sripad Aindra Prabhu said, there are only two options. Either the association of the opposite sex or the association of Krishna. You take the choice. You pick. If you want the embrace of Krishna, then you have to give up the desire of embracing anyone else in this world. Only those who wait will get the best embrace. So this is how it is. So if these principles are followed, fourth regulative principle is not broken, sleeping pattern is proper, waking up early is proper, eating after sunset is managed, unnecessary talking is avoided, Vaishnava aparad is given up, quality of chanting in the morning is better, reading Srila Prabhupada's books is prioritized, service to the Vaishnavas, the Vaishnav community. Whenever we have programs, we have to serve. It could be arranging the chapel, it could be cooking, it could be serving prasadam, it could be arranging the mic system, it could be making garlands, it could be doing kirtan, it could be speaking Hari Katha, it could be dressing the deities, but we have to serve. No chit-chatting during programs. We have to actively serve. If all of these principles are taken care, Ekadashi is nicely followed, regulative principles are not broken, prescriptions, proscriptions, do's and don'ts are properly taken care, how can we feel spiritually weak? We will not feel spiritually weak. Not possible. The reason we feel spiritually weak is we are not reading, we are not chanting, and we are criticizing. And then the other things that I mentioned, including eating. Vegetarian restaurants, vegan restaurants, whatever it may be. It's a compromise. That which is not touched by the lips of Krishna, why should it touch our lips? Why should I accept something? Why should we accept something that our master has not accepted? Will a pet dog ever take something that's not given by his master? He will not take. A street dog will put his mouth into any dustbin, but a pet dog will wait for his master to give the biscuit. So, this is our dog belt, is it not? This is our dog belt. And we are, Tumi to Thakur, tumara kukur. Bhaktivinoda Thakur has said. Sarvasya tumar charane sampiya, podiche tumara dware. Tumi to Thakur, tumara kukur. Hey Vaishnav Thakur, ami tomar kukur. I am your dog. I am your pet dog. But the thing is, the pride is, for lifetimes I was a street dog. But now I have become a pet dog with a dog belt. You are my master. And whatever biscuit you give me out of your prasadam plate is what I will happily accept. Uchishta. Uchishta rakhi betar. Bas. This is all that I will. If this nishtha is there, then life will become very blissful. Very, very blissful. Again, this is our family. So I sometimes I feel sad after the class that I get very intense. But I think it's okay. It's in line with our acharyas and our Prabhupada and Prabhupada Saraswati Thakur and all our acharyas. They are inspiring us not to compromise, to be one-pointed, not to be shooting stars, but to be a moon in the dark sky of Kali Yuga. So with that, I will pause. So today's discussion was completely on sadhana, do's and don'ts, and how to be spiritually strong and how not to be weak. So these are some thoughts. So I will pause here. If there are any questions, corrections, Ramakrishna Prabhu, Shachi Yashoda Mataji, and other superiors, please chastise me heavily for my arrogant and proud and over-enthusiastic, unnecessary blabbering. But if it helps everyone, including myself, then I think I'm happy. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Pranam, Prabhuji. Thanks. Wonderful. Prabhuji, that sloka you did not finish, no, Prabhuji. Dayaya sarvabhute.
Santushtya yena kenava sarva indriya upashantya cha, to control the senses. So 3 things.
Only 3 lines.
To be kind to everyone,
Okay.
to tolerate, santushtya, always be satisfied, and sarva indriya upashantya cha. Under that I spoke about brahmacharya, to be self-controlled. And if this is there, then tushyati ashu janardhana. Janardhana
That's what, that line I did not get. Tushyati
ashu janardhana. Very quickly, Janardhana is pleased. So,
yeah, I was looking for that sentence. Okay. Okay. Thanks, Prabhuji. Thanks a lot for the wonderful session. So many wonderful points today, many practical applications basically today. Yeah, why spiritual life can be weak. So it's a barometer for us to understand and work on those aspects, and also how to regulate our 24-hour day cycle. That was very wonderful. And
Ramakrishna Prabhuji and Shachi Yashoda Mataji's teachings and guidance is softer than a lotus. And I am coming here and throwing thunderbolt. I am feeling very embarrassed.
Quite, Prabhuji. These thunderbolts are required for us. And also how to reach Prabhupada's books. Very nice, Prabhuji. Thanks a lot, Prabhu, for the wonderful session. I think there are some questions. So we'll take it, Prabhuji. Yeah. The first hand was actually raised by Jasmina. Yes, Mata, you may unmute yourself and ask the question.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dhanvat Pranam.
प्रणाम।
हिंदी में पूछ सकती हूँ क्या प्रभु जी?
अवश्य पूछ सकते हैं।
अच्छा प्रभु जी, मुझे एक आपसे गाइड चाहिए था कि प्रभु जी एक्चुअली में मैं जब जपा करती हूँ सुबह को, जब सब सुबह को जपा करते हैं हम लोग, तो यानी मैं ब्रह्म मुहूर्त में उठती हूँ, 4:30 को हम लोग बैठते हैं जपा के लिए, जूम में बैठते हैं। लेकिन प्रभु जी अभी मेरा माइंड ऐसे सेट हो गया है कि मैं जब जपा करती हूँ तो मैं बोलती हूँ, और सब हम एक ही रूम में रहते हैं तो मैं थोड़ा स्लोली चैंट करती हूँ क्योंकि सबको डिस्टर्ब ना हो। लेकिन प्रभु जी मेरा माइंड ऐसे सेट हो गया है कि मेरा माइंड को अभी पता चल गया है कि अभी ये जपा कर रही है, अभी उसको 2 घंटे कुछ काम नहीं है, तो वो ऐसे सोचता है। और जैसे मैं उस बात को एंजॉय करती हूँ कि अच्छा ये, यानी मैं बहुत सोचती हूँ, यानी मैं अपने इसको जब जपा पूरा, यानी बीच में अगर मुझे कुछ रियलाइज होता है तो मैं सोच के मुझे नहीं सोचना चाहिए, लेकिन मुझे ऐसे लग रहा है कि जैसे मेरा माइंड है ना वो टाइम को एंजॉय कर रहा है कि अच्छा अभी इसको कुछ काम नहीं है, 2 घंटे 4:30 to 6:30 ये जपा करेंगे, तो वो सोचता है। तो प्रभु जी इसका कुछ सॉल्यूशन है क्या प्लीज? मुझे बहुत ऐसे, एक आपके सेशन में मैंने सुना था कि जैसे छोटा बच्चा है वो हमें वो पडल में जाता है तो वो उसकी माँ उसे रोकती है कि नहीं जाना है, हमें अपने माइंड को रोकना है। लेकिन एक सेशन में ऐसे भी मैंने, याद नहीं शायद आपके, कि हाँ अब करो जपा, वो काम है उसका सोचना, वो सोच। अभी प्रभु जी मैं एकदम रियली कंफ्यूज हूँ कि अभी मुझे अपने माइंड को कैसे।
बिल्कुल मैं समझ गया। आप यही कह रही हैं कि नाम जप करते समय मन अगर यहाँ वहाँ भ्रमण करे तो फिर उसको कैसे एकाग्र भाव से निष्ठा पूर्वक उसको स्थित करे। सो फॉर दोज हु आर फ्रॉम द दोज हु डोंट अंडरस्टैंड हिंदी, द क्वेश्चन इज व्हाइल चैंटिंग जपा, if the mind gets distracted during those 2 hours, then how do we refocus? तो मैं पहले हिंदी में उत्तर दूंगा, and I will first respond to that in Hindi and then very quickly in English. तो ये स्वाभाविक है माता जी, नाम जप करते समय मन नहीं लगेगा, टीवी देखते समय मन लगता है, और पिक्चर की बात करते समय मन लगता है, फेसबुक जगत की वार्ता करने में मन लगता है, खाने पीने सोने में मन लगता है। जो भी कार्य करते हैं या जो भी दिनचर्या बनाते हैं जिससे हम इस जगत में निश्चित ही रहेंगे, उन सब में मन लगेगा। और वो कार्य जो करने लगते हैं जिससे यहाँ मुक्ति होने लगती है, जगत से निकलने की बात है, तो अब मन विचलित हो जाएगा, क्योंकि अभ्यास नहीं है, पूर्व अभ्यास नहीं है। करोड़ों जन्म ले चुके, कभी पशु, कभी पंछी, कभी प्राणी, और सभी योनियों में हम भ्रमण करते करते खाए हैं, पिए हैं, सोए हैं और मनोरंजन कार्यक्रम ही किए हैं। इसलिए मन को अभी पहले के पूर्व अभ्यास लग चुका है, और नाम जप करने का अभ्यास लगा नहीं, शास्त्र सुनने का अभ्यास लगा नहीं, इसलिए तब निद्राग्रस्त होते हैं या मन यहाँ विचलित होता है। तो 2 बात, नाम जप करते समय मन को लगाएं। मन कहेगा यहाँ वहाँ जाना है, अगर वो 7 बार बोले कि मुझे वहाँ जाना है तो 8 बार घसीट के ले आए। हर मंत्र को बोलते बोलते सुने, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। ये एक अभ्यास है, हर नाम को सुनना है एकाग्र भाव से। मन कहेगा यहाँ नहीं, बिल्कुल ले आना है। और फिर भी मन विचलित हो रहा है तो आप ठाकुर जी के सामने बैठिए, विग्रह के सामने बैठिए, कोई प्रिय राधा कृष्ण गौर निताय कृष्ण बलराम की तस्वीर के सामने बैठ जाइए, तुलसी देवी के सामने बैठ जाइए और नाम जप कीजिए। एक दिन में सिद्ध नहीं होगा, करते रहिए, अभ्यास करते रहिए। वैराग्य और अभ्यास, वैराग्य अर्थात जो निषेधात्मक कार्य है उनसे दूर रहना, और अभ्यास अर्थात जो करना चाहिए उसमें लग जाना, कार्यरत रहना। ये दोनों करते रहिए। 6 महीने, 8 महीने, 12 महीने, आप स्वयं कहेंगे कि अब मन और शांत हो गया। सो फॉर दोज in the English speaking audience, if the mind gets distracted during japa, it's just natural, because we have been doing things of this world for such a long time. The mind is not habituated to chanting. So 2 things, when there are distractions, we keep distractions away, and abhyas, we keep practicing. Every mantra we articulate nicely and we hear it carefully. And this is a practice. This is an ongoing attentive practice. By doing this, we will be successful. This is what Prabhupada said. Sit properly. प्रभुपाद का नियम था, सिट प्रॉपरली। बस ठीक से बैठें. If we sit properly, अगर हम ठीक से बैठें तो नाम जप सिद्ध अवश्य होगा. ठीक है? We will definitely reach success. We will take the next question.
हरे कृष्ण पायल माता जी, आप पूछ सकती हैं. Able to unmute?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Prabhuji, my question is, you told that अपन को टॉलरेट मतलब क्रिटिसिज्म को टॉलरेट करना चाहिए. जब भी हमें कोई क्रिटिसाइज करता है तो हमें क्रिटिसिज्म को टॉलरेट करना चाहिए और हमें रिस्पॉन्ड नहीं करना चाहिए उसी वे में. तो माय क्वेश्चन इज हाउ टू डील विद दैट क्रिटिसिज्म कि हम नहीं करें, क्योंकि ऐसा होता है कोई हमें कुछ बोलता है तो इंस्टेंटली हमारा भी रिप्लाई आता है और हम भी उल्टा बोल देते हैं. So how to deal with that? And my second question is, आपने बोला everything comes from Krishna, then reversals of material life and failures also comes from him. So I want to know कि how to deal with material failures and reversals of material life, because when we get spiritual and भक्ति में जब आए थे तो बहुत सारे reversals भी आते हैं, failures भी आते हैं और हमें पता होता है internally कि कृष्णा ही कर रहे हैं, but it is hard to accept them. So how to deal with that?
All right. So is it okay if I answer it in English, Mataji?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, Prabhuji.
So how to deal with reversals and when there is criticism, what to do? So it's almost the same, because criticism is also a type of reversal. We expect praise and appreciation, but when there's criticism, it's a reversal. So I'll just take it in one go. Imagine if we are in a martial arts school, and we go as the student, and we have been part of the martial arts school for some time. So the teacher calls on each student and has an individual fight. The teacher is fighting the student, not because the teacher hates the student, but because the teacher wants to prepare the student better, right? So sometimes the teacher may hold the student and topple him down and probably even pin him down on the chest, just to see how he reacts. And if he slips through the legs and inverts the martial arts teacher and pins him down, the teacher is actually happy. Right? The teacher is actually happy. It's not an envious fight. The teacher is just trying to prepare the student. So the student doesn't get angry. When the martial arts teacher pins the student down, the student is not angry. Why? Because he's convinced that the martial arts teacher is actually his well-wisher. He's doing that not out of envy, but just to prepare him better. So this material world is actually a martial arts school. And Krishna is the martial arts teacher. And we are the student. And every circumstance in life is actually the martial arts teacher fighting the student. So sometimes the student is taking on, and sometimes the teacher is taking on. So when the student takes on, we feel it's happiness. And when the teacher takes on, we feel it's sadness. But we should not feel angry, because we understand Krishna is not pinning me down to settle some scores. Like people sometimes say, if God is good, why does he do this? How can God be so cruel? No, we don't get the point then. He's not cruel. He's just preparing us to see how we respond. Because those who respond really well, they will be recruited as the teachers, by the teacher. So everyone in life, when they are pinned down by Krishna, who's the martial arts teacher, everyone complains. Why does the teacher do this? Because they are not convinced that this teacher is their well-wishing friend. But those on the path of bhakti, they say, oh, wow, wonderful. Krishna is showing that thing in me that I have to work. So even there's criticism, the best thing to do is to be quiet. Tatte anukampam su samikramano bhunjana eva atmakritam vipakam. To think that there have been times in the past where I have been glorified for things that I have not done. So it's okay to sometimes be criticized for things that I have not done, just to settle the score. We like to take glorification for things that we have not done also. When someone else is glorious, we say, yeah, I was the one who gave the idea. Right? So when we are eager to take glory in things that we are not glorious about, Krishna will sometimes give us criticism, even when we have not done it, just to settle the score. So whether it's criticism, whether it's reversal, we have to understand it's the martial arts teacher pinning me down. And I should not hold anything against him or the mediums, but just to remember him. My Lord, if this is what you're doing, may my preparedness, may my toughness on the path of bhakti better. May I make advancement through this reversal. How will I know otherwise whether I'm able to tolerate like a tree if there is no tolerating situation? If everything is going smooth, how can I know whether I'm taroriva sahishnuna or walking on that path? But when there are reversals and Krishna gives us the intelligence, don't respond. Just duck it. Just let it go. And then when we come out of it victorious through His mercy, we feel very happy. More happier than proving the point to them through an argument. Because with this, we are making spiritual advancement. Does that make sense?
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Dandavad Pranam. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Prabhuji, there's some questions in the chat box. I'll read out for you. There's a question from Mamta Nagwekar. She's asking, Prabhuji, how do we keep ourselves focused on bhakti when everyone else is trying to pull you down from that path, saying you're too young to do all this?
Prahlad was young. Dhruva was young. There are people dying at the age of 20 and 30 and 40 and 50. We don't know when we are going to die. All these people who are saying you're too young are the people who don't even know what their goal is. And those who know their goal and have achieved it, they have started it young. So when people say like that, we don't criticize them, we don't argue with them. There's a very nice principle in the Bhagavatam, in the 7th canto of Bhagavatam, in chapter 14, that whenever someone in the family says something that we don't agree to, just say yes. Yes, is that true? True. This is there. There's a verse in the Bhagavatam, in the 7th canto. It's called as the yes, yes verse. Success for family life. Anybody says anything that is not in line with bhakti, just say, yeah, true, true. Don't say no, because it will just inflame. Say yes and continue to do what you're doing. Nobody will be able to disturb. Keep them peace. As Prahlad Maharaj says, Swasti astu vishwasya khalaha prasidatam. Let everybody be satisfied. No problem. We don't want to get into a tiff argument with anyone. If they feel like that, you don't get influenced. You associate with people who are telling you, now is the time. Kaumaram acharet pradnyo dharman bhagavatani hai durlabham manusham janma. As Prahlad Maharaj says, now is the time. Athato brahma jidnyasa. Now is the time. Labdhva su durlabham idam bahu sambhavante. Now is the time. Durlabham manusham deham. Now is the time. Kamala jaladala jivana talamala bhajahu haripada nitire. Now is the time. So all these acharyas are saying we accept them. And if someone says at home that you're too young, keep peace. Don't agitate them. Don't chant in their face and say, I'm going to chant more. No. Follow. If they're saying, don't waste time chanting, instead study. So that means Krishna is giving a hint through them that don't trouble them by chanting on their face. When they are around, you read, which means study or, be good at home. But when they're asleep or they've gone to work, that's when it's time to capitalize with more profits now. Make hay while the sun shines. So, but don't disturb them. Just say, true, true. Yeah, that's true. Just say that and then continue doing what you have to. Krishna will bless you.
Thanks, Prabhuji. Another question from Shreya. Is everything predestined? If yes, then why to do hard work?
God will give every bird its worm. God gives every bird its worm, but necessarily doesn't drop it in the nest. Right? There's a worm written for every bird, but the bird has to give up its nest and fly. Only if you're Rajnikant, you will get some honorary PhD sitting at home. But for others, it's not possible. You have to work. Just as an example. Sitting at home, we will not get it. You have to make some endeavor. Then it is possible. It is predestined, but the condition is the person will have to put in effort, and then Krishna has kept it ready. Just like the father is ready to give his property to his son. The day the son is born, the father will write, this is my son. Everything I'm working hard is for him. Father always keeps saying. But at the same time, the father expects the son to stand on his own legs and be responsible. So it's like that. Krishna wants us to work and not be lazy. But yet at the same time, he's very kind. He has kept everything from his reserve for us. So the bird, God drops, God keeps a worm for every bird, but necessarily doesn't drop it in the nest. This must be remembered. So when we work, we should work as if everything depends on our effort. And when we pray, we should pray as if everything depends on Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji. This sentence is very nice. God gives its worm for every bird, but not necessarily in its nest. That is a wonderful way of understanding. Thanks, Prabhuji. A question, what from Harsh Rai? He's asking what not to eat in brahmacharya lifestyle.
Nothing spicy, nothing stale, avoiding too many sweets, not something greasy, not something fried, deep fried. These things must be avoided. And it must be prasadam, typically cooked by someone whom you are convinced about their devotion. Try or avoid eating in public places where there's cooking in large quantity, because you don't know who's cooking where. So be careful. Apart from food, one should be careful not to browse the internet, not to misuse the smartphone with wrong inclinations. One should not chit-chat with the opposite sex. And these are some things to be taken care, and very strong devotional practices. Then and praying to Krishna, praying to Nrsimhadev, because ultimately only his nails can uproot those lusty desires. We can try our best, but only Nrsimhadev's nails can uproot, because Hiranya means greed, gold, and Kashipu means bed, either laziness or lust. All of these are so difficult to overcome. Just like Hiranyakashipu had a benediction, neither in the house nor outside the house, neither in the air nor in the water, neither by man nor by animal, neither by hand nor by weapons, neither in the day nor at night, right? So what it means is lust, which is Hiranyakashipu, or greed, which is Hiranyakashipu, cannot be destroyed inside the house, outside the house, cannot be destroyed in the air, cannot be destroyed on the ground, cannot be destroyed by hands, cannot be destroyed by weapons. That lust can be destroyed only by the sharp nails of Nrsimhadev, by nothing else. So we have to pray. Namaste jaste jase avir bhava vajranakha vajradamshra. We have to pray sincerely. And every time there is an attack of any lusty inclination, we should not think and feed it, because then it grows. And the impression it leads in the consciousness is very bad. Very bad. Even if the person doesn't act on it, if he constantly contemplates on that thought, then the more we think, the thought becomes deeper and deeper and deeper in the consciousness. And if you act on it, then it is failure. We will go down on the path of bhakti. Senses, the past inclination will push, but we have to tolerate. And in one brahmacharya ashram, the principle is, whenever there is an attack, they say Namacharya Haridas Thakur ki jai. Because the lusty thought is a prostitute. But Namacharya Haridas Thakur has the power to win over them and make them into devotees. Nrsimhadev can uproot. But Namacharya Haridas Thakur can keep that thought alive and transform that thought into a devotee and give diksha. Because the devotee is stronger than the Lord. So if we want to uproot it, then we pray to Nrsimhadev. But if we want stronger spiritual inclinations, then we pray to Namacharya Haridas Thakur. Because he will transform that thought and make that prostitute-like thought into a devotee, and even probably give diksha. So these are some thoughts.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Similar questions from 2-3. I think children of 8th, 9th, 10th standard also attending the class now. So their question is a common question. How do they manage both bhakti and the studies? Because now they are in the higher grades. Some are preparing for the competitive exams. So they want to understand how to manage.
Yeah, study very hard from 8 o'clock in the morning to about 6 o'clock in the evening. Before that, perform bhakti. After that, keep it for family. Very simple. 3 parts in your day. From 8 o'clock in the morning to about 6 o'clock in the evening, academic work, competitive preparation, 10 hours, good preparation. After that, keep it for family. If you have something at home, you have to visit someone after 6 o'clock or whatever the time slot is. But before 8 o'clock in the morning is the time for bhakti. While chanting, don't think about academics, and during the day, don't put kirtan or class and keep studying. Focus. One thing at a time, and that done well. So have sound sleep, wake up, let's say at 5:30 in the morning or 5 o'clock, depending on how your enthusiasm is and focus level is, and give about 2 hours for Krishna. Give 1 hour for your exercise. That's very important. You could go for a run, you can do Surya Namaskar, or yoga, or gym, whatever it takes. Body needs it because you'll be sitting for 10 hours. Whether it's academics or chanting, you'll be sitting. So the lower back needs strengthening exercises. So keep 1 hour for that. So 2 hours, 3 hours for bhakti, 1 hour for exercise, another 8-10 hours for academics, and remaining time for family. Your parents and your Vaishnav community will be very proud of you if you follow this principle.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Okay, now Sarveshta Priyadarshini Mata, you may unmute yourself and ask the question.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी, दंडवत प्रणाम।
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam.
प्रभु जी, मेरा क्वेश्चन ये है, जैसे आपने कहा कि हमें हर रोज एक साधना चार्ट बना के फॉलो करना है प्रॉपरली, जैसे डेटी वर्शिप करना है, चैंटिंग करनी है, कम से कम 16 माला, बाकी फिर रीडिंग भी करनी है, तो सब एकादशी का व्रत भी करना है, तो इतनी सारी जैसे मतलब बहुत सारी चीजें हो जा रहे हैं, तो ये मेरे लिए एक बर्डन जैसा बनता जा रहा है धीरे धीरे। मतलब पहले स्टार्टिंग में बहुत जैसे एक्साइटमेंट में मैं स्टार्ट की, फिर फॉलो किया, प्रॉपरली सब सही चल रहा था। धीरे धीरे जैसे बाकी की, क्योंकि हम गृहस्थ हैं तो घर के काम भी रहते हैं, तो एक थक भी जाते हैं, तो उससे क्या होता है कि प्रभु जी प्रॉपर फॉलो भी नहीं कर पाते कभी कभी। और धीरे धीरे जब वो चीजें कम होने लगती है पहले से, जैसे चैंटिंग मतलब ज्यादा होती थी, फिर धीरे धीरे करके कम होता जाता है। मतलब कभी तबीयत खराब होगी, कभी घर का काम रह गया, तो ऐसे वो ना बर्डन जैसा बनता जा रहा है कि मैं नहीं कर पा रही हूँ। तो एक माइंड में ऐसा आ जाता है कि कहीं मुझसे कोई वैष्णव अपराध हो गया है जिसकी वजह से मैं नहीं कर पा रही हूँ, या फिर नहीं की तो इसका रिजल्ट क्या मिलेगा, मतलब क्या भगवान मुझ पे मतलब वो नहीं होंगे, या फिर मुझे गुरु नहीं मिलेंगे, या फिर मुझे भगवत धाम नहीं मिलेगा। बहुत सारी चीजें वो बर्डन जैसा बन जा रहे हैं, तो इसका क्या सोल्यूशन है प्रभु जी?
मैं अंग्रेजी में इसका उत्तर दूं, चल जाएगा?
Yes, प्रभु जी।
So then I don't have to repeat. So the question is, on the path of bhakti, we have so many limbs. There's hearing, there's reading, there's worshipping, there's chanting, there's so many things to be done. And initially, out of enthusiasm, it's wonderful. You feel good to do all that, but then later it becomes little cumbersome, little burdensome, because as grihasthas we have other things to do, and then there's a feeling of failure in the heart, that I'm not able to do it. Is it because of some offense in my heart? Will Krishna still accept me, etc.? So how do we get out of it? Boond boond se ghat barta hai. You know, every drop counts, right? Every drop. So don't take so many things. Point number one. Don't tell yourself from tomorrow I will do this also and this also and this also, this. Then we end up doing nothing. This is the trick the mind does. The mind inspires us to take more than what we can, and we believe the mind, and then it shows us that you can do it. And then it disappoints us, and whatever we can consistently, even that is not performed. So this is a trick of the mind. The mind either takes us to rajas, taking more than what we can, or it brings us back to tamas, that I'm not able to do anything. But sattva means to take little. Don't add too many things. Just keep very simple. 16 rounds, chanting Hare Krishna, and 30 minutes of Prabhupada book. Bas. That's 2.5 hours out of 24 hours as a grihastha. And remaining time, whether you're cooking, whether you're taking care of your child, Kali kale naam vinu nahi ara dharma. Sarva mantra sar naam ei shastra marma. You're Bengali, so you can understand. Right? Kali kale naam vinu nahi ara dharma. Apart from Hari Naam, there is no other dharma. Sarva mantra sar naam. Ei Shastra Marma. The Marma, the essence of all scriptures is chanting the holy name is the essence. So even when you're making rotis or you're taking care of your house or you're traveling anywhere, just keep the holy name in your tongue. That's it. The essence of all the reading is to chant. The essence of everything is to remember Krishna. So whatever you're doing, yad karoshi, yad ashnasi, yad juhoshi, dadasiyat, yad tapasyasi, kaunteya tat kurushva madarpanam. So whether you're cooking, whether you're cleaning, whatever you may be doing, whatever field of activities we have, don't worry. It doesn't always have to be just the limbs of bhakti. It's a holistic process. You can be in the kitchen making rotis and be completely absorbed. You could be churning like Mother Yashoda and still be completely absorbed. Yani yani iha gitani tad bala charitani cha dadhi nirmantane kale smaranti tanya gayata. The woman at Radha Damodar, the elderly devotional woman at Radha Damodar whom Srila Prabhupada always quoted, she just did that one service consistently every day of bringing water from the Jamuna and giving for the bathing of Radha Damodar, and her hands used to tremble, but she did that with sincerity, consistently, one thing, and that caught the attention of Srila Prabhupada. So take small bits, 16 rounds, 2 hours, and 30 minutes of Prabhupada book, 2.5 hours, bas. Now do it for 3-4 months. If you add everything, your schedule will become very intense. Don't do that. Then once this is comfortable, then you can do something else. Krishna's time, right? So when we say, I don't have time, how is it possible? When we want to serve Krishna with the time, and Krishna is that time, why wouldn't he make some time when I have to serve him? It's possible. But the mind tricks us. So just take small bits, succeed in them, and then on weekends or festivals, you can add a little more. But never neglect family duties to just perform direct limbs of bhakti. Krishna will not be happy. Because this is also bhajan. Taking care of the child is also bhajan. Who gave the child? Krishna gave the child. Krishna has given his eternal part and parcel as the spirit soul in your house, as an example. So taking care, you have to tell Krishna, I may not be able to sit and chant now between, let's say, 8 and 12 in the morning, but I will serve you through this amsha of yours. This part and parcel of yours, who's there in my courtyard, whom I call as my child and you call as your eternal servant, I will serve you in the form of the holy name in the morning, in the form of the deity in the evening, but in the form of this eternal servant in the afternoon. So Krishna is only being served. ठीक है?
One more thing, प्रभु जी मैं और एक बात बोलना चाहूंगी, कभी अगर मुझसे कोई गलती हो गई हो, कोई भी प्रश्न पूछने में या फिर कुछ भी, तो मुझे प्लीज माफ कर दीजिएगा प्लीज.
चिंता नास्ति.
Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. धन्यवाद.
Hare Krishna, thank you. We'll just take a couple of questions. Arikit Roy Chaudhary, you may unmute, but my humble request to please keep your question short and crisp so that we go. You may directly ask the question to Prabhuji. Yeah, Arikit Prabhu, Arikit Roy Chaudhary.
हरे कृष्ण, धन्यवाद प्रभु. मैं अगर दो प्रश्न पूछते हुए प्रॉब्लम है क्या?
क्या कह रहे हैं? मैं सुन नहीं पाया.
मेरा दो प्रश्न था. I have 2 questions actually.
Okay, आप पूछ लीजिए, फटाफट पूछिए, लेकिन क्योंकि एक
और
और
मेरा पहला प्रश्न था कि ये मतलब मैं कोशिश कर रहा हूँ कि हमेशा मैं जीवा में हरि नाम रखूं, तो मुझे
मैं सुन नहीं पा रहा हूँ. आप प्रयास कर रहे हैं कि?
हाँ, मैं ये प्रयास कर रहा हूँ कि मैं हमेशा जीवा पे हरि नाम रखूं, हमेशा नाम रखते रहूं. तो मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि ये जो मतलब जब मैं नाम रखता हूँ तो मेरा मन तो कहीं और रहता है, मैं काम कुछ कर रहा हूँ और नाम रख रहा हूँ, तो इससे एक तो नाम अपराध हो रहा है. पर आप हमेशा कहते हैं कि हमेशा नाम लेना चाहिए, तो इसको कैसे समझे कि नाम अपराध हो रहा है, फिर भी हम कॉन्स्टेंटली ले रहे हैं, तो इसको कैसे समझे? तो ये मेरा पहला प्रश्न है. और दूसरा प्रश्न ये है कि कभी ना मतलब बहुत ये श्रद्धा ना बहुत सॉफ्ट है, मेरा श्रद्धा बहुत सॉफ्ट है. मैं ये फील कर सकता हूँ कि आई डोंट हैव अनफ्लिंचिंग फेथ. ये जो श्रद्धा है बहुत मतलब बहुत शेकी है, तो इसका क्या किया जाए? मतलब मुझे पता है कि अगर मैं दृढ़ श्रद्धा नहीं है तो भगवान के पास नहीं जा पाएंगे, लेकिन ये बहुत शेकी है, मतलब तो क्या करें इसका? ये दो क्वेश्चन.
So question number 1 is by chanting the holy name. Prabhuji is saying I'm trying to chant as much as possible, but my mind is not absorbed. And I feel if we chant and mind is not absorbed, it is nama parad. So what to do? That's the first question. So that's the first. And the second is how to build on faith on the path of bhakti. So we'll just very quickly respond to them. Bhumau skalita padanam bhumi revavalambanam nama jata aparadhanam tvameva sharanam prabho. In Harinam Chintamani, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is asking this question to Haridas Thakur. That if one is chanting and one is distracted, and is that considered to be offensive? And if yes, then how are the offenses removed? Haridas Thakur says, if one is attempting to constantly chant the holy name, even if the mind is not absorbed, the intention that I don't want to forget Krishna, that will save one from offenses. If the desire is I want to constantly chant as much as possible, even if the mind is not there, mind is going all over the place, no problem. But the desire is I want to chant. That will protect us from offenses. And the past offenses, how are they uprooted? Haridas Thakur says, just like a person who falls on the ground, gets up by holding the ground. So offenses at the lotus feet of Harinam Prabhu can be overcome by holding on to Harinam Prabhu. So just by chanting as much as possible, constantly. Jivhana Vakti Bhagavad Gunanamadheyam Chetascha Tatna Smarati Charanarvindam Krishnayano Namati Tatshira Ekadapi Tan Ana Yadhvama Sato Krita Vishnu Krityan. Yamaraj tells the Vishnudutas in the 6th canto, if someone doesn't chant enthusiastically the holy names, then you bring that person to me. So we should not go there. We should chant as much as possible. That will take care of offenses also. Because just like when you fall on the ground, you get up by holding the ground. So you overcome nama prad by chanting. Second, how to build faith? The answer is Prabhupada book. No better answer. Associate with Vaishnavas and read. If you read 30 minutes, 40 minutes every day, impossible to not have faith. Because Prabhupada said, I live in my books, so we can associate. In fact, Prabhupada said, if someone reads my books, I sit next to them and I educate them. So keep a pencil in your hand and take these books. And as you study, go slow, make points, understand, reflect, memorize these verses, understand these sections, understand the examples, and share it with others. How the faith will not go deeper. But when we don't give ourselves this juice, then we'll become weak. We can take one last.
Yes, Prabhu. Thanks, Prabhu ji. Satvik Fotedar Prabhu. आप unmute कर सकते हैं? Question.
Maybe after this we can also take Seema Mataji. She's joining from Qatar.
Okay. Satvik Fotedar, आप पूछ सकते हैं. You're able to unmute? Yeah.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, I have two questions. First one is serious. I have my grandfather. He's of almost 80 age. And I would say, unfortunately, he has got last stage cancer. So I would like to enhance his life in his final months, I would say. But it is very difficult as he's a ferocious meat eater and he has not read many scriptures. So how I can help him?
Can you inspire him to water tulsi every day? Will he do this service, Satvik Prabhuji?
No, Prabhuji.
He will not?
I can only assure you that I can only read Bhagavad Gita in front of him. Only that much, because...
Please read Krishna book in front of him. Read Krishna book to him. Pastimes of Krishna you can sit.
Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita.
You have only Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita?
Yeah.
Krishna book you can purchase. Even online on Veda base you can find. You can read. It's very beautiful, sweet pastimes of Krishna. He will also like it. If he's okay, then you can make him chant one round. But if he's not okay, then you can water tulsi and you can chant extra rounds and tell Krishna that this I am doing for my grandfather. Please you protect him. Then that's the best we can do. And what's the second one? Second question.
Yes, Prabhuji. My second question is that I belong to family of Kashmiri Brahmins. So my family eat meat. But that how can Kashmiri Brahmins eat meat? they have Brahmins in the surname, and they also eat meat, and they also read scriptures. Like I've seen my family members being expert in scriptures, relatives. Then why they all eat meat? I've listened that in history we also eat meat. We have traditional meat dishes. Then why? I have the question.
For the taste of the tongue. What else can I say? It's a contamination. It's not a tradition from the scriptures. What does a brahmana mean? Janmana jayate shudra, samskarat bhaved dvijah, veda pathanat bhaved vipro, brahman janati iti brahmana. And it is described that by birth everyone is a shudra, but only one who understands Krishna through Shastra and follows it, not just knows it. People could be Pandit here, could be PhD on the head and kindergarten in the heart, but that doesn't help. We have to leave all this gray cells, gray matter here at death. Only our consciousness is carried, which is our activities. So true Brahmana means following scripture, not just knowing it. So through tradition, scriptural tradition, Vedic tradition, meat eating is not there. But it's a contamination over time, and now it looks traditional. So why
Yes.
meat is
Yeah.
being eaten? It's only for the taste of the tongue. When the person becomes so ruthless and brutal that one thinks that my breakfast is more important to me than the life of that poor animal, which means that life that that animal is leading is insignificant in comparison to the taste of my tongue for one meal. If this is how heartless one becomes, then one is agreeing to eat meat. Otherwise, no sane person will eat. No one. Why would you want to make your stomach a graveyard by putting in dead animals in there? Our stomach should be a nice orchid with fruits and vegetables there, not a graveyard. So I am at least congratulating you with all my heart that to be born in a vegetarian family and to speak this is simple. But when the family tradition is in a different direction and you have your question in a different direction, on the direction of the Shastra, then I really congratulate you. Krishna's blessing, Krishna's mercy in your life is making you ask this question. So my request to you is follow the tradition of the Shastra and not necessarily that which comes down the family.
Okay, Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Very
Thank you, Prabhuji. Yes, Seema Mata, you may please unmute yourself.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam. Prabhuji, I have a question. Where I stay, we have a small Bhakti Viksha group, different groups, Prabhuji. So initially, I used to go to some other Bhakti Viksha group, and there also he's very senior devotee, he's very sincere, and he's very nice, Prabhu. But past 2 years, I started going to some other Bhakti Viksha group where I'm more comfortable, and time-wise also it suits me, Prabhu, because we are a housewife, so daytime we can more spend with in the Bhakti and devotion, Prabhu. But that Prabhuji, he doesn't have idea. I don't know whether he has idea or no, Prabhu. He is still he calls us and asks us to attend the program, Prabhu. And usually his programs are in the evening, Prabhu, when we are offering the bhoga to Thakurji or cooking for a family, Prabhu. Initially, for 6 months, I didn't do any justice, Prabhu. I was just putting the earphone and listening his katha, not paying much attention, not writing his notes, Prabhu. So I was feeling very guilty. So how to, means not to offend that Prabhuji, because his Prabhuji's group is very small. We are only like 8 or 12 devotees, but other Mataji who's taking, we have a big group now, Prabhu. So how to, what will be my behavior, Prabhu? How to say no to that Prabhuji or make him aware that I'm going to some other, because I don't want to do the Vaishnav Prat, Prabhu. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, and thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to ask the question, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
We will take this question offline because those who don't have to hear the response, we will not push them through that conversation. But we will definitely take this offline and we will discuss more details about the situation, both the speakers, both the counselors, their mutual relationships, their experience, all these things matter. So we will take it offline.
Ji Prabhu, thank you so much, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, pranams. Prabhuji will, I think, will end the session here.
Sure,
Yeah.
Mataji.
Few more. I'm sorry, Matas and Prabhus, you've raised your hands, but I'm assuring you next time, every month we have this session. You can please reserve your questions and you can ask. We are sorry for not taking all the questions because we are running out of time. And tomorrow it's Ekadashi here, and we all have a seva at morning 4:30 itself. So yeah, I'm sorry for that. My apologies. And Amarendra Prabhu, extremely thankful to you for the wonderful lecturian session. And we would like to hear more and more and more from you. So we are just waiting. Putana has reached. After that, we have not heard. The last.
we will bring Putana face off next month.
Yes, Prabhuji. So we'll yes, but of course this also was necessary, very important, because it's practical applications, how to approach Prabhupada's books and do's and don'ts, very much required for our to progress in our devotional path also. Extremely thankful, Prabhu. Thanks.
Thank
Extremely
you
thankful
so
to
much, Mataji. Thank you.
wonderful devotees who assembled here, and Shyam Chandra Prabhu and Sundari Mataji. Thankful to you also, Mataji, for joining the session. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much. And sorry if I went over time. I planned to stop in 1 hour and then take questions and answers. But
Yeah, that was good. You did a wonderful job, Prabhuji. No problem at all. Of course, I think the questions were there, but it's very nice. That means they're all hearing very attentively and they have questions. They want to really progress in their spiritual path. So that's a very good sign. But because of the paucity of time, we are unable to do. But definitely we'll take those questions in the next session. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Prabhuji, thanks a lot.
Venkateswara Prabhuji, and thank you Shachi Yashoda Mataji for this wonderful opportunity. And if I said something which was very intense, please forgive me as your son, and please even coach me, guide me, correct me, reprimand me, counsel me, suggest, so that I can improve and I don't make the same mistakes. But I promise whatever I spoke from my heart as a well-wisher, with no ulterior agenda, just as a family. Whatever is important, I just spoke. And to everyone on the call, thank you so much.
Very good. It's essential, Prabhuji. These aspects are very important to discuss also. Krishna Katha is definitely required, but apart from that, in between, this kind of hammering is also required. It's very important. It's important. Ramakrishna, you want to say something?
Hare Krishna. Our dearest Amrendra Prabhu's sessions were like the hammering of the goldsmith. Tuk, 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 tuk. Not that of the blacksmith. Bum, bum, bum. So it is needed. Both. At times, Prabhupada would say, in one stroke you have to finish. Not like the goldsmith. Tuk, tuk, tuk. So depending upon one's consciousness and one's awareness and his own sincerity, one may take up this type of path. As we can see, even in the scriptures, in the Srimad Bhagavatam, Narad Muni is that expert smith, I would say. And some places he would be a goldsmith, and in other occasions he would be a blacksmith also. And in certain other occasions, we could see that he even instigated the demons against Krishna, and to ensure that the fellow is finished as soon as possible. So it all is ultimately for the pleasure of Krishna. We are all taken up different types of our attitudes and stance just because we deeply love Krishna, but we do not know how to express that love. And that's what sometimes gets reflected on one's own self, or different kind of impediments. What we see is basically the struggle. So if one actually quickly understands this one point, that our very existence is to please Krishna, then everything else actually falls in line. Till the time we really take this to the heart and realize this, our struggle continues to go on. So I wish that your struggle be reduced to the minimum. You become self-realized soon. Our dearest Amrendra Prabhu showcased several small books in the first place. It was to me looking like a rainbow from left to right with so many colors of Srila Prabhupada's crystal-like jewels. So if you really take note of them and really note them, only simply taking wouldn't be meaningful. You need to really note them. That's the way how you should allow Prabhupada to actually interact with you lovingly. As Amarendra Prabhu was saying, Prabhupada has taken the vow that he will sit next to you to teach you. But then if you don't allow him, or you just run away making him sit, both is not good. So you need to really take that special effort. And that's the only way. Anyone who comes to Krishna consciousness, especially to ISKCON, if he doesn't make love with Prabhupada, he cannot make even one single step of progress. He may be hearing lectures left, right, and center from morning 4 a.m. till night 11 p.m. He would make no progress at all because he has not made the very first and basic requirement of loving Srila Prabhupada. Because all those who speak anything, since they are the lovers of Srila Prabhupada, and thereby they are able to speak. But if you don't love, then how will you make a progress? So it's my earnest urge and request to each one of you that every one of you in ISKCON should definitely enroll themselves for the different Shastric courses. And they must make it a point as how you do your academic courses, as how you work in your respective places, including if you're a householders, housewives, or whatever is your profession, occupation, you must take up to Shastric studies. This is the very fundamental base on which you can actually exist as a devotee. And if you don't do that, you will actually fall down. You only will temporarily like something and you enter into some kind of a fantasy. Yes, I am also a devotee. But there is nothing that actually sustains you. The transformation has to happen, and that can happen only through Srila Prabhupada entering into your hearts. And through him, Krishna can actually enter. So this principle must be really taken up very seriously by anyone. And by Krishna's grace and Srila Prabhupada's mercy, you can do it now in your own language. Mayapur Institute has come up with several courses of doing it in your own language. And there are so many worldwide teachers who are assisting Mayapur Institute to help you. So please get connected to your nearest Bhakti Vriksha centers or your Namhata centers or your counselors and ensure that you take the best benefit of it. And as we are all now internationally connected, you can pick up any Siksha Guru from any part of the world and surrender and take the shelter and continue your studies. It's very much possible. So, but carefully manage your local leaders' requirements also, not that you neglect them. That cannot be acceptable at all. So take these simple steps. Hear Krishna Katha. Amarendra Prabhu pours in such nectar. And you know, the secret for this class that Prabhu took us today by teaching us those many aspects of the sadhana, you can understand what is his level of sadhana. And you can also appreciate that when you see his nectarian classes. How is that possible? And what kind of a preparation he's doing? To take a class like this, hours and hours of blood and sweat is actually shed just to give us some insight so that we accept it. And we must be thankful and grateful and reciprocate. How do we do this? By following the instructions. That's the best way of reciprocation. So I really urge to you, do not get disheartened. Don't think of your physical conditions or situations as impediments. They are actually put forward by Krishna to you so that you become more serious. Consider that to be as the mercy and the best platform for you to progress, like a springboard that you can actually jump into Krishna consciousness. That's how everyone who has been successful has done that. We can take from the many examples of great Vaishnavis, in fact to say, as you see here, more Vaishnavis in these sessions. Not only here, even in most of these concessions, we see more Vaishnavis than the Vaishnavas. I mean to say the male bodies in that sense. Why? Because they can be naturally attracted to Krishna and surrender to Krishna more easily than the Purushas who think because of their ahambhavas. But you can take the advantage, and you as merciful mothers, you can transform your household by inspiring people when you take up to Krishna consciousness more seriously. So it's our humble request. Just keep associating, and Nectarian sessions are there every month on every third Thursday at the same time with the same Zoom link. So you can please do join us and make the best use of your human form of life. Thank you very, very much. As ending note, Amarendra Prabhu had quoted a verse from the 7th canto saying that you agree externally, but you make your own agenda. And this is 7.14.6, where Narada Muni teaches this to Yudhishthira Maharaj, saying that how to make an ideal family life. So please take this and make advantage of it. Your plan is the best plan, which will help you to become Krishna consciousness. That is the agenda. The rest of it are only ornaments and decorations along the side. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Amrita, for pouring in this wonderful nectar, giving your causeless mercy and association. And during these holy months of the Chaturmasya, your nectarian association is so much purifying for us. We wait for the whole month, just like the Chataka birds, to receive those wonderful drops of nectar. So kindly empower us through your auspicious teachings.
Now that's
So
getting too much, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
I pray at the lotus feet of Srila Gurudev, Srila Prabhupada, all the wonderful Vaishnavas, and your Ishta Deva, who is so much attracted to his Devi, Bhanu Nandini, so that you progress so nicely and you inspire the whole, not just one part of the world, not just the universe, but the entire creation with your wonderful teachings, that which has been totally taken from the lessons of the Bhagavatam and the Vaishnavas and your spiritual master. May Krishna always inspire you, keep you very, very close to his heart. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Over to you, Sachimata.
Hare Krishna. So let's do a Vaishnava Pranam, and we'll all chant for the good health of Prabhu and for his overall well-being. First, let us chant and then do the Vaishnava Pranam mantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripasindubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo namo namah. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srila Gurudev ki jai, Nitai Gaur Sitanak Premanande, Hari Bol. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Dandavat pranam. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Thank you for the class.
Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Dandavat pranam, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, koti koti
Thank you
pranam.
so much,
Koti
Prabhuji.
pranam, dandavat pranam.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Prabhupada ki
Jai.
The kind permission will end the session here now. Hare Krishna.